Hi everybody, welcome back to Ginatopia. Well, today I am doing my I'm doing my eyeshadow collection, and here is Miss Bella. Here is the gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous Miss Bella. And you know, she loves her camera time, so I'm going to give her some treats to get her down so we can get started on this video. I only have about 33 minutes because my camera shuts itself off at the end of that time, so I'm really going to have to talk fast. Bella, let's get you some treats and get you down, because Mama's going to have to talk fast so I can get started on my video eyeshadow collection. The first palette in my collection is the Too Faced Natural Love palette. Now this is a beautiful springtime palette. Let me take my glasses off because my camera, well, it doesn't seem to be reflecting too bad right now, but let me go ahead and take these off. It's a beautiful springtime palette. It's full of pinks and browns, and I do love this palette. This is what I actually have on my eyes today, but love this palette. I just wished it had more mattes in it, and it is no longer available. So there is that palette. Next is the Too Faced Chocolate Bar. Everybody and his brother has this palette. Everybody and his brother has seen this palette, but that's what it looks like. And I have recently found a new love for that palette. I also have the Too Faced Semi-Sweet palette. There's what it looks like. Again, everybody and his brother has had that palette, along with the Too Faced Bon Bon palette. And you've got to admit, this is an adorable looking palette with all those cute little hearts in it. And the ever so popular Too Faced Sweet Peach palette. Love it for its smell, love it for the looks I still get out of this palette. I love this palette, and I still use this palette a lot. Love that palette. The Too Faced White Chocolate Bar palette. I don't use this palette a whole lot. I need to start using it, or I need to declutter it. And what I am doing right now is I'm writing down in a little book every palette I use every day for several months, and then I'm going to go through, and what I haven't used I'm going to declutter. Here is my Too Faced Sugar Cookie palette from this Christmas. Really cute little palette. Great companion palette to the Too Faced Natural Love palette. And this was limited edition. Here is the Too Faced Peanut Butter and Jelly palette that my niece Sarah gave me. I actually love this palette. Get a lot of use out of that. And my dear sweet niece Erica got me the Too Faced Cat Eye palette. She knew that I would love it because I love anything cat. Here is the Too Faced I Believe in Pink. I got this from Susan Anthony. It's got a beautiful pink blush in this palette. Beautiful pink palette. And here is, I think, the last Too Faced palette I got. This is my favorite Too Faced palette. It is the Just Peachy Mattes. It's full of mattes except for this one shade down here, which is called Sangria. It has a little bit of satin sheen to it. This is a beautiful, beautiful palette, and with the Pantone Color of the Year for 2019 being Living Coral, this palette is going to be a staple in my collection this year and going to be getting a lot of use. So I love this palette. This is one of my top 10 favorite palettes. Belle's is back. Now here are two palettes from Smith & Colt. Packaging on these are absolutely beautiful. I've got it in Interlude, and I also have it in the Moon Sweet. I did a collab with Lisa Jacks using the palette Moon Sweet. Let me open it up and show you what the inside of the palette looks like. These are beautiful, buttery, creamy shadows. I just wish that the pans were a little bit larger. For $44. You think that the pans would be just a little bit larger, but the shades are so creamy and so soft and so pigmented that I love them. So that is what that looks like. And let me show you what the Interlude looks like. Now it is purples, beautiful. There is what it looks like. Those are $44, and they're available on Smith & Cult, and they're also available on HSN. I have two IT Cosmetics palettes. I have the Naturally Pretty palette, and this is one of my all-time favorite palettes. This was my first high-end palette. This was one that my mother had got me. I have panned 4 shades on this, and I absolutely love this palette. This will be one palette that I definitely repurchase when I pan all the shadows in that, because I love it. It is nice, soft washes of color. They're all mattes, but there is a transition shade down here that you can make any shade in there a satin shade. I love this palette. You probably could use that with any matte shade and make any matte shade in any of your palettes a satin shade. They are also Leaping Bunny friendly, and here is the Naturally Pretty Romantics. They are animal cruelty free, is what I wanted to say. They're cruelty free. And this one hasn't been shown a lot of love like I need to show it, but it is a beautiful palette too. The Tranquility shade and Enchanting are absolutely gorgeous, so let me show you those 2 shades in this palette. I hope you can see those. They are beautiful. That soft mint green and that beautiful purple shade. Gorgeous. Need to be showing that more love. Here is a Z palette full of Anastasia, Urban Decay, and I think it's got one Makeup Forever shade. Here is an Ace Beauty, the Grandiose palette. I've only used this once. I really don't have an opinion on this too awfully much, but that is a beautiful palette. Let me get Belle some more treats and get her down again. Bless her heart, this cat, she's going to be hurling treats. I'm going to have a mess to clean up. There you go, honey. They're treats, not a meal. Here is another Z palette. I busted this one yesterday. I'm going to have to fix that green in that. But this is what this palette looks like. It just has 4. It's got a Sephora, some Ofra, and I'm not sure what that eyeshadow is, but it's just got 4 singles. Here is a Moonstruck Addiction 2 eyeshadow palette by Unique. My friend Courtney Cage sent me this palette. I am not a Unique fan. Sorry, Courtney. Here are my Urban Decay palettes. I have 5 Urban Decay palettes. I have 2 of the mini palettes and 3 of the larger palettes. Let me show you these. I really love small palettes over larger palettes. Now this Urban Decay Naked 2, I traveled with this and used this so much. It's surprising I haven't hit pan on several of them. I'm about to on about 3 of them. But I love this palette. This is the only palette I took with me when I went to Canada last year. It gives you just a really good basic brown eye. This is a great beginner palette. It's a great staple palette just for mattes, and I love this palette. I also have the Urban Decay Naked Petite Heat. I would have bought this before the Naked Heat palette if this had come out first, because this just has everything I need in it. It's all mattes, and I love this palette. It's beautiful. I get much more use out of it than I do the larger one. Here is the larger one, by the way. I had accidentally got acetone on it, and had to print out labels and stuff for it, so it's in bad shape. And here is the Urban Decay Naked palette that one of my subscribers sent me, and this is no longer available, but I am very interested in the Naked Reloaded palette because I think it is beautiful, and I'm thinking about getting that palette. And here is the Urban Decay Naked Cherry palette that I saw Susan Anthony do a look with, and I had not planned on buying this palette, but after I saw that look that she did, she talked me into getting this palette, and it is so beautiful. Look at the packaging, the colors, absolutely a stunning palette. And Bells has knocked off my timer, so I don't know where I am time-wise. That kitty, that kitty, that kitty. where she knocked it to. Let me look for it just a second. There it is. I need to know where I am time-wise, so I don't get my camera shut off. So now we're set again. That kitten. Here are two of my Natasha Denona mini palettes. Now I heard that the formulation in these palettes is not as good as the large Natasha Denona palettes, but I can't afford $129 for a palette, so I'm just going to have to love on these $25 ones. And I get compliments every time I wear the mini sunset. I know there are mixed reviews on the internet with it, but I get so many comments, and every time I wear it, I love it. I love this palette. And here is the Natasha Denona Lila palette. I love it too. Let me color swatch these. So I love that one too. And if the formula is that much better in the big ones, I can't wait to get a big one. So loving on those. Let me get a makeup wipe here so that I can wipe off these color swatches. Let me wipe cat hair off my nose. She's a shedding beast. Off my lip. Yep, she's a shedding beast. But Mommy loves her. Okay. Now I have 5 of the Anastasia palettes. And I love Anastasia. I'm debating on the Sultry palette. It's between it and the new Urban Decay Reloaded palette. They look so much alike, but I actually think I like the Reloaded palette just a little bit more because it has less shimmers and the palette sizes vary in it. So I'm really liking how that is. Here is the Master palette by Mario. I don't use this as much as I used to because it's not available anymore. And I hate to use things that are not available anymore because I think once I pan it, I can't get it anymore, or, you know, once I use it up. So that's my theory there. Here is the Modern Renaissance. I absolutely adore this. As you can see, I have hit pan on a couple shades in that, and that is one of my favorite palettes. Here is the Subculture palette. This is one of my favorite palettes. I know a lot of people give this palette a big thumbs down and didn't like it, but I must have got a really good formula palette because, or a really good batch, because I didn't have all the trouble that everybody else had, and I adore this palette. Adore it. And here is the Soft Glam. This palette is so beautiful. The first time I saw it, I couldn't wait till it came out, and I love it. I love, love, love this palette. It is so beautiful. Everybody should have this palette. Absolutely beautiful. Actually, I recommend it over the Modern Renaissance. I love it so much. And my dear sweet husband bought me the Norvina palette before I had my knee surgery last year because he knew how much I loved Anastasia and how pretty I thought this palette was. And I bought my niece Erica one because I promised her one, and my husband bought me one. So Erica benefited too. So there is a beautiful palette. Now I have the Laura Geller, the Weekender little book. I have the Flirty Friday, the Saturday Style, and the Sunday Fun Days. I didn't get some of my palettes down up here. Can you believe that? I knew I was missing something. I only have one Laura Lee palette. I have the Laura Lee Party Animal palette. I really do want her Nudie Patootie palette. I know there is a lot of drama around Laura Lee, but just because there's drama around her don't mean that she don't make a pretty palette, and that's all I'll say about that. Next, I have two Lorac palettes. This was the first Lorac palette that I had. This is the Lorac Pro To Go. This is what made me love the Lorac formula. It has 6 eyeshadows on one side. On the other side, it has a bronzer and 2 eyeshadows. You can open it up flat for easy use. It is just great to travel with. And that is a really good palette. And that is the reason I bought the Lorac Pro 3. Or the Lorac Pro 3. I really would like to have the Lorac Pro 4. I think the formula is so great, but I've got myself on a low buy, and you will see why because of all these palettes. I have 4 Marc Jacobs palettes. Here is one from a couple Christmases ago. This is the About Last Night palette. And look at this beautiful palette. I love Marc Jacobs eyeshadows. Not so much his foundation or mascara, but I love his eyeshadows. Here is the Lover palette, which is a beautiful, beautiful bridal palette. Look at the soft pinks and soft browns in that. Absolutely beautiful. Gives such a gorgeous, gorgeous soft look. So romantic. I think that palette has been discontinued. Here is the Lolita palette, which is a beautiful basic brown palette. Gorgeous. I think this palette has been discontinued, but it's absolutely gorgeous. And here is one that was given to me by my dear sweet friend Susan Anthony. At any time, this is called the Scarlet. Anytime I need a beautiful copper or gold or silver, I go to this palette, see, copper, because I know I'm going to get just gorgeous eyeshadows. I hope you can see those because I cannot see my camera. My vision is so bad. All I can see is ring light. Next up, I have one Alamar palette. This came in our BoxyCharm, and this is a beautiful, beautiful palette. There is a second one out now, and I'm really hoping we get it in our BoxyCharm soon. I have 5 Kat Von D palettes. I forgot to get these out over here. I have the original Kat Von D Shade and Light. I love this palette. This shade Lazarus up here is my favorite of all time shade. It is a one and done. Just swipe it across your eyes, a little bit of mascara, you're good to go. You probably can't see that on my hand, but it really does show up on your eye. I liked it so much that when I saw the new packaging on sale at Marshall's, I had to have it. Boom, I love it. I'm not talking about Kat Von D because, you know, I don't approve of her no-back lifestyle that I've said. And here is her 10th anniversary palette. The packaging on this is gorgeous. I love her original artwork. The inside is also gorgeous. Here is 2 shades that are just stunning, the green and blue. Let me show you these. Gorgeous. Now that is one blue that I will actually wear. And here are 2 of her smaller palettes. I have the Sage palette, which love the little packaging. Got a lot of use out of that. You know, a lot of people threw away their Kat Von D products, their Tarte products, their Laura Lee products after all the scandal. You know, I have paid my hard-earned money for them. I'm not throwing them away. I might not purchase any more of certain brands after scandal, but I'm not throwing away what I have already bought. And here is the Plum. Same packaging, same great formula. Let me get it out of the box. And once again, I have got a whole lot of use out of it. I didn't buy the smokes or the russets, but I love the plums and the sage. Got a lot of use out of those. Again, let me wipe my swatches off. And what I liked about those is they did not stain. Some of really dark pigmented products that stain. Now I have 3 Tarte products. One is the original Tarte lip palette. I was really late in the game buying this eyeshadow palette. Smells so vanilla-y and good, but I have used the heck out of this palette and totally adore it. I also have the Tarteist Pro palette. Bought it, didn't use it for a long time. Once I started using it, I couldn't put it down, and then I haven't used it for a while, so I need to get it back out and use it again. It's a really good palette. And I have the Style by Rouge palette, which Susan Anthony sent me, and I love this palette, and I love the blush in this palette, so love that. I have one Winky Lux palette. I have the Kitten palette. I adore this palette. I use this palette all the time. I love that. I have this Ulta Z palette, which has Urban Decay and Anastasia singles in it. I have Bare Minerals palette, which is the Posh Neutrals. Buyer's regret here. Get it open. I thought I was buying something else. Did not get what I thought I was buying. I've decluttered all my other Bare Minerals palettes. Well, open the right side, Gina. That helps. Just, that will probably be decluttered in my next declutter. Just saying. I have 3 Cargo palettes. I'm going to start off with the Enjoy Your Journey. This is a really cute little palette, great for traveling. Really great neutral browns in it. Love this little palette. I do wish it had a brown matte shade in it, but still a nice little palette. I have the Emerald City palette. Very reflective. Sorry if that puts your eyeballs out. And I have the very large Blockbuster eyeshadow palette, which I have not used yet. I got this one at Marshall's. I had also got Erica one of these. Very nice eyeshadow palette. Trying to not blind you with that reflective gold on that, but it's got a lot of pretty eyeshadow colors. I'm just not big into, or I just don't care for big eyeshadow palettes. I prefer smaller ones, and this one has, I think it said 35 eyeshadow shades. Can't see without my glasses, but anyway. Up next, I have the Nightingale Pretty Vulgar palette. The Pure P-U-R-E Cosmetics Buff Collection. And this is a dupe for the Urban Decay Naked 3 palette. I love that. Really soft and pretty. I have my one and only Violet Voss Pro Holy Grail palette. This came in my BoxyCharm box this month, or December. Very, very nice. I love that. I have Ulta Beauty Matte Neutrals. This probably should have gone in the less expensive box. But anyway, it's here, so there that is. I have my Zoeva Protege palette. I have not used this yet, so I have not formed an opinion on that. I have 3 pure palettes. I have the Soiree Diary palette, and I love this palette. I have already hit pan on one shade and about ready to hit pan on a few more. I love this. I use this a lot. I love this palette. I have the little on-the-go set. It's got 2 little palettes in it. I actually bought this for a giveaway and opened it up and jammed my thumbnail into one of them, so I'm not sure if anybody would want my thumbnail jammed into one of them. But it is so cute. Here's what one of them looks like. You can see where I jammed my thumbnail into it, but that is really, really pretty. Just perfect to throw into your purse. And here is the other one in the little packaging. Very, very soft and pretty. Beautiful for spring. So that's what that looks like. Here is my only Tom Ford, my dear sweet husband got me for Christmas. This is the Lavender Lust. This is beautiful. I want more Tom Ford. Absolutely beautiful. I love that. Here is Estee Lauder. This was from a couple Christmases back. I like to keep this in my luggage. It's got 12 eyeshadows and 2 blushes, just in case I'm in a hurry. That's in there. Here is Ulta Beauty. This is where I deposited a pure eyeshadow palette. This has got the Masquerade, one of the Masquerade palettes. I deposited it in the, there's the eyeshadows. Here's my only Juvia's Place eyeshadow. This is the Douce palette. My niece Erica got me. This makes me want more Juvia's Place. And last but not least, here are 2 of my Signature Club A duos from HSN. These are really, really nice. Simple, just throw these into your purse and you can go over there. So now I've got 10 minutes to do my drugstore eyeshadows. So let me get those, and I will do my drugstore eyeshadows. Let's see if I can do those in less than 10 minutes. So, well, I am just knocking everything over. Let's get started with my drugstore eyeshadows. The first drugstore eyeshadows I have is one from Vegas Nay. It's just browns. Here are 3 from Morphe. I have 2 of the Dark Magic that I loved it so well, and 1 of the Armed and Gorgeous. There is the Dark Magic. And here is the Armed and Gorgeous. I am not a big Morphe lover, but those were gorgeous. I have 3 e.l.f. palettes. Here is my e.l.f. and Kristen Serrano collab. My friend Susan Anthony sent me this, and I did a collab with Courtney KH with this. Here is an e.l.f. Posh Peacock, and I love this palette. Gorgeous greens in this. Love that. Here is my Mad from Mattes, and if you're looking for just a great, inexpensive eyeshadow, this is great. You need to try these. They're only $10, and those are great eyeshadows. Here is the Milani Most Loved Mattes, and these are really good eyeshadows. They're only $15 at Walmart, $20 on the Milani website. There are several more, but like I said, I'm on a low buy, or I'd be purchasing those. These are excellent eyeshadows. Here is Maybelline. This is the City Mini eyeshadow. This is the Jungle palette, and these are beautiful. Here is Emerald Smokes. Here is my Lemonade Craze. I love the Lemonade Craze. I love the lemonade and the ketchup shades in this, and I love that palette. Not so much the Soda Pop, though. I need to play around with this a little bit more. So far, I hadn't cared so much for the looks I got out of this. I need to play around with that much, much more. Here's a Z palette that has the NYX Cosmic Metals, the NYX Lid Lingerie, and the Essence Roses, plus a few more eyeshadows that I had decluttered. Ah, there went one falling. I need to pick that up in a minute, but there is that eyeshadow palette. Here is a Bitsy eyeshadow palette that my friend Sean sent me. Really pretty colors. I like this eyeshadow palette. Really pretty. Here is a glitter palette from Claire's that I use at Halloween. Here are 3 palettes from Avon. Now, Avon is not your grandmother's Avon anymore. They have some beautiful eyeshadows and great products. This is a quad that's called Emerald Cut. I have definitely used and used and used this. Every time I think I'm going to declutter it, I get it back out because I like it so much. Here's a new one to my collection. This is called Romantic Mauves. I haven't used this yet, but I really do like this one. This one is Ombre on a quad green metallics. Here is one with Sunset Kisses by Dear Diaries. This is a pretty good, inexpensive eyeshadow palette. There's 12 different colors, and you can get some pretty looks out of this palette. Some of them you have to build up, and that one's not so good. Like I said, some of them you have to build up. Others are pretty daggone good. So, for $3, that's a pretty good palette. Here is some Wet n Wild. Here is the Petalette. Really pretty colors. Hasta la Vista, baby. Here is the dupe for the Modern Renaissance. This is a really good palette. This is Rosé in the Air. This is the OG Comfort Zone palette. And here is a couple of bye-byes. This is the Neon palette, and this one's a pretty good, well, oh, that was the little brush I dropped out of it. This is a pretty good little palette. For a little $3 palette from the dollar store, Family Dollar. And here's one of the glitters. The glitters is lacking, but I used it for Halloween. A Physicians formula that my niece Erica sent me. I have not used that. It's too pretty to use. I just say that because it is so pretty. Here is two beauty control palettes. They are no longer in business, but I keep these because I have learned to like it. I kept this Passion one because I got rid of my Morphe 35P, and here is Wisteria Lane. Here is one by NYC. I don't even know the color name on it because it's covered up with a sales sticker on the back. LA Color Nude from the Dollar Tree. Here's another one from the Dollar Tree. It's greens. It's called Lucky. Love that one. Another one from the Dollar Tree. This one's called LA Color Matte Shadows in the shade Magnificent. Got this one because I saw a YouTuber use that. That one's pretty. I love this one from LA Colors. It's mattes in purple cashmere. I love the looks I get with that eyeshadow palette. Here's another one from Wet n Wild. It's Fantasy Makers. It's glitter. Use it at Halloween. Here's an LA Color. I bought it just with the purples to use at Halloween. Here's an LA Color that my niece Erica sent me for Christmas. This is really pretty. It's loaded full of greens and purples and just all different colors. Let's see if I can get it open here. Really pretty. Here's the LA Colors Cool. The nudes is at work in my desk. But I really do like the nudes. I haven't tried the cools yet. And here is my last LA Colors. This is the palette Flirty. Let's see if I can get this one open. It is my Pixie by Petra. It's Judy Time. I really like Judy Time. I have 3 ColourPop palettes. I have the Disney Princess palette. Very pretty packaging. I have the Pretty Much palette. I have the All I See Is Magic palette. That was sent to me by Lisa Jacks. For BH Cosmetics, I have the Carly Bible palette, the original one. I really like it. I have seen a lot of use out of this. I love that. I have the 28 color Modern Neutrals palette, and I love, love, love this. This was a gift from Susan Dotson. I love that. From Makeup Revolution.